Good morning, kids. How we doing? Look, this is going to be a quick impromptu video, and hopefully, because it's a quick one, I won't have the audio issues that I've been having. And it's I had to stop at the local Rite Aid and pick up my meds, which aren't ready, and I got stuff to do, so figured I'd just make this. This one's going to be quick, and it's in response. My friend, Bill. Yeah, Bill, definitely Bill. He's having an issue that a lot of us struggle with, especially when we're trying to knock the rust off or when we're trying to learn a new skill. And this is where we figure it all out. The pavement, right? And this parking lot, while I'm waiting on my meds, is a perfect example. So this is going to be a fast one. And I just want to show you an exercise. And the exercise is kind of there to help you lean. You know, that's one of the things that when we do slow speed stuff, we kind of start off. I don't know. There's a lot of different programs. There's a lot of different people teaching it, but it's a linear thing. The line. We need to start literally with starting and then stopping. And a lot of times when we do that, we do it with our feet kind of duck walking when you first learn. And then we want to get those feet up as soon as we can because we're trying to learn how to just do the clutch and the throttle, right? And then we put the feet where they're supposed to go, and then we move on to picking the foot up, putting the foot down, and then we work on smoothing out that process, all right? And this is all still in a straight line. And then we work on slow speed riding because that helps develop that skill further. And then we start doing turns with the handlebars, right? And then by the time you get to the advanced stuff, or intermediate, I guess is what I would call it, the slow speed stuff, you're starting with the handlebars, which in my opinion, not all that practical. That doesn't matter. It's still a good skill to learn because it's practice. But we do this starting with the bike upright and mainly straight and using the handlebars. What we need to do is, if we want to really develop those skills, we got to start getting that lean. And I'm talking about that aggressive kind of dip, We don't need to use it all the time, but it's what's going to help save us when we're out in traffic trying to not die. So this is what I'm going to do right now. Is I'm just skipping all the other stuff. We're just assuming everybody knows that for Bill. We're going to do the parking lot weave. Now, the good thing about it is there's no cones. All we need are spaces, and that's it. So cones are okay. There's nothing wrong with cones. They'll keep you honest. But if you just want to go out and practice in a parking lot, all you really need is the space. And the lines certainly help to kind of give you a path to verify what you're trying to do. So I'm probably not going to do it over there. Probably going to go over there and do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to ride through the spaces, okay? And I want to make a serpentine, right? All the way through the spaces. And I'm going to skip the middle space. So you start with the first space, you skip the middle space, you enter the next space, and we're using both spaces, right? The whole thing. And then we skip the next one, go back in, skip the next one, and so on and so forth. And then when you get that kind of mastered, your goal is to try and go from one set to the next set to the next set to the next set. So right away, what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of a dip in the opposite direction of where I'm going to turn. I don't need to do it at first. I'm using that to build up that, flow. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So again, not a how-to channel, just trying to give somebody a hand. So let's go down here, pick some spaces, and see where we're at. Hopefully my meds will be down here in a few minutes. I got that. Already things up. We're looking good, I think. We'll find out. Yeah, we're looking good in here. No problem. All right, so I'm just going to give it a little... I've never done this stuff in this parking. Well, I mean, not like this. So I don't see any gravel or anything. There's a couple of dips I'm not really that fond of. So I definitely want to stay away from that. That doesn't look fun. So I'll start with a right-hand turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to these spaces. I'm going to stay just to the outside of them. And when I come outside of them, I'm going to give it a little bit of a dip this way. And then I'm going to come back around. I'm skipping that space. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to stay to this side. And I'm going to do the same thing coming out the other way. Now, they don't have to be that tight when you first start. If you want to make a really wide turn, come way out, and come back in, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't matter. I want to just wind up towards the outside of the turn before I go back the other way. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do with this exercise. So it forces you to make a transition from left to right, right to left, left to right, and you're using all the spaces until you don't have any more spaces to do it anymore. And it's just playing. That's all it is. It's just playing. So where we're going with this, where we want to wind up is we want to get to the point where we can go into the first space, right? We get that little bit of a dip to get going this way and then make our turn and come back the other way. And then we go right into the same space. So we're not trying, that's the goal, is to get to that. But we don't start off there. We start off first space and skip, then the next space, then skip. And if you need to skip 2 spaces at first, maybe you're real rusty, maybe you just haven't got that part down. Okay, that's fine. Skip 5 spaces, doesn't matter. But you just want to start off just getting the feel for how it's going to dip, because when we start off with the slow ride, you got your foot on the brake, you got your throttle up a little bit, you start giving it that clutch, letting it out, and you do a lot of this straight line. I'm not going straight right now. Let's get turning around here a little bit. You give it a lot of that, you're doing that straight line, slow ride kind of thing, and that's great. You're going to spend a lot of time doing that if you're learning this thing, and that's fine. That's what we want to do. But we need to start being able to turn it. And in order to make that turn, you got to, use you got to be used to it. And you can't get used to it if you haven't done it. So the other thing that I would throw up here is you get into a lot of comments. I'm going to get off track, and I don't want to do that because I really got to get moving here. Trying to keep it stupid short for Bill. Hi, Bill. You want to make sure that when you're starting out, you're keeping your head and eyes up. The big tendency is to look down towards the parking lot. You're trying to watch the lines. And the thing is that the camera is on my chin. So, see it's down here. And I'm not sure that the angle is where it really needs to be. So I'm going to try as I can't see the image on the screen, I can only guess. My target is on that building when I'm looking straight ahead. It's, 5 feet up the wall. That's where I'm looking through those bricks, trying to look through the building. So when you're doing a slow speed ride in the first place, you're using that target fixation to kind of take you towards that spot on the wall. You're looking up. You can see everything in the parking lot with your lower peripherals, you can see it. So when I'm ready to turn around, I pick my head up. I'm looking way over that apartment building over there, right? And the bike's going to follow that path. It doesn't have to. That's just the way nature kind of makes humans, motor skills, hunting, or whatever Tim said. If you want to throw the rock and hit the dinosaur, you got to look at it, and then your body follows it. And the same leftover primal applies to this. We look where we want to go, and we have a tendency of steering that way. Now, can you look a different direction and turn the opposite direction? Yes. Is it easy? No. It takes a little time to develop that, but we're not worried about that right now. What we're worried about is just trying to make the motorcycle do what we want it to do. And in order to do that, this is what we're doing. So this is not going to be the best video I've ever shot, for sure. I've got a lot of other catch-up stuff to do I've been having problems with. I just felt like this one was important because I see somebody that's doing all the right stuff, just all the right stuff, and yet maybe not always feeling like they're doing all the right stuff. And, I wanted to address it and say, hey, no, you're killing it. you're killing it. You're killing it. You're doing great. Just keep going. It's fine. And I hope that helps. Like I said, the parking lot stuff, yeah, it's that dip. I mean, it's the dip, and it's the keeping your head and eyes up, and it just takes some practice. That's all. And I know the back thing is a hard thing to deal with, but what's the worst that can happen? You know, you got to go back with a buddy in an hour and pick your bike up. I know, it's embarrassing. Nobody cares. I don't care. I think it's cool. I'm like, this dude loves it enough to just drop it. That's the first thing that goes through my head when somebody drops a motorcycle. So head and eyes, keep them up. Look where you want to go. Oh, by the way, pilots use this to make smooth, buttery landings. Did you know that? Yeah. Pilots use it to make smooth, buttering landings. When they transition from an approach, okay? So they're looking at the ground. There's the runway. 3 lines up past the threshold. And then when they make the transition, they pick their eyes up and they look all the way down the runway. And then they play this game called Don't Land the Airplane. And perfect. So that's the same thing that we're using in a motorcycle. It also works on your lawn. If you like the riding lawnmower, works there too. You just pick the spot way over the neighbor's yard and follow that spot. And then when you mow it and you turn around and look, you got a nice straight line all the way from where you started. So the head and eyes thing works in all different kinds of applications, but it's definitely important on these things when you're trying to learn how to do the slow speed stuff. So look, I could go on, and I will. I've seen me do it, but I got to go get my meds, and I need to get this video up for Bill as soon as I can. And I don't think I'm going to have time now to do that before work. So I'll have to do it tomorrow, or I'll have to upload it tonight when I get home. So if you're watching this, I did this probably yesterday morning. So okay, to everybody out there in YouTube world, I hope if you needed this helped. If you didn't, I'm sorry. And we'll see you in the next video.